Hello guys and welcome back to another video in our channel. So Chelsea have won one game in the last 4 Premier League games, losing the last 3 games. Matches where Chelsea are actually supposed to have won something. Chelsea have lost twice to Brighton in a row, lost to Aston Villa after taking the lead. And even when you look at the goal that Aston Villa scored so that they can win the game, you could clearly see it was more about the way Chelsea sleep, especially towards the latter stages of the season. But also the goalkeeper contributed a lot towards that dreadful performance. And it's looking also like Jorgensen is still also not quite great when it comes to his shot stopping ability. And Sanchez looks to be much better than him in that department, though Maresca backs him. But how can the club find themselves in a position where they have two bad goalkeepers? Remember the times when Chelsea had two great goalkeepers in Peter Cech and Thibaut Courtois, and how Cech had to leave for Arsenal so that Courtois can develop into one of the best goalkeepers in the league. But you can clearly see there is a problem in the club, especially when it comes to recruitment. Now, let me compare that with Aston Villa. Aston Villa went ahead and brought in Asensio from Real Madrid, a Champions League winner, a La Liga winner, a player with experience. And that player is the one who scored both of the goals that saw Aston Villa get all the 3 points. Now, that's a difficult contrast compared to Chelsea, who are busy signing 12-year-olds and 11-year-olds and failing to sign a striker. But what really happened in this game? Let's get into that. And before we start even this analysis, again, I kindly ask you to like, share, and subscribe to this channel for more videos like this. Now, when you look at the statistics, you can see that even Aston Villa created more than Chelsea. They should have scored 3 goals. Chelsea should have scored 2 goals, meaning that Chelsea's, despite the change in the formation, Chelsea's defense still conceded a lot of chances in this game. And is it a personnel issue, or are we seeing Chelsea failing on all fronts? Now, when you look at Aston Villa, Chelsea had started well. The tactic that Chelsea implemented going into a back five was something unique. But I've said this time and time again that Chelsea's press really fell off. And that can be attributed by the players that Chelsea have within the team. Players like Christopher Nkunku are not the greatest pressers of the ball. And so when you have him on the team, you are actually having a passenger without the ball. And even his body language indicates that. And Maresca actually implemented some of the tactical changes that I had suggested in my preview. But when you look at the 2 goals, you can clearly see it's the lack of concentration in critical moments of the game. The first goal, Gusto was sleeping in the far post. The second goal, you can just see how Asensio had all the time and space to get that shot, and Jorgensen should have saved it. So Chelsea went with the 3-4-3. Actually, I predicted the lineup correctly, though Chalobah started ahead of Tosin, but Tosin came on. But overall, I got the lineup correct because I had predicted Chelsea to play with a back three. And there's a reason why I had predicted Chelsea to play with a back three, because they cannot even defend with a back four. And in this back three system, Chelsea were heavily reliant on the winger, on both midfielders coming in. And in this situation, uh, Pedro Neto was preferred into that right inside forward position. And I thought the intent of starting the game in this kind of fashion was good. But again, problems started at the wing back position. And both wing backs had a problem. And I'm going to explain to you how. Now, for wingback position, you need wingers who are either very good attacking wise and very good defensively. Now, with Cucurella, when it comes to the attack, he's not quite the best. He will not overlap quite well, but Gusto will. But when it comes to defending, Gusto has been terrible this season, and we have seen how that right hand side has been exposed time and time again. Like, you have Rhys James covering behind you. Why don't you just be aggressive? Now, with the ball, they were looking to try and create that front five. But down the right, you could see Gusto having that intent to generate the width, allowing Neto to cut in. But down the left, Cucurella would be slightly deeper. And even because of the passive nature of Christopher Nkunku in the team, you could just notice how Chelsea really struggled to actually impose themselves on the game. Now, without the ball, Chelsea will revert into a back five with two defenders. But the problem here is you can even have a back 10, but if the players are not aggressive, like how do you allow Asensio that time and space? How do you allow that players to have an easy tapping in the far post? That means that Chelsea are not very aggressive with the man that they are going up against when they are trying to defend. And this brings me to another player, and that is Marcus Rashford, an outcast, a player who had been outcast out of Manchester United's team. He's come into Aston Villa, and you could see the moments of magic that he generated for the team. But a Chelsea team that is very low on confidence, a Chelsea team that they are not so quite touch tight on their men. That's why Chelsea are losing games because Chelsea are not quite aggressive. And I will single out one key player in this department, and that is Christopher Nkunku. Christopher Nkunku is actually giving I'm actually at a point whereby I am not having a problem if Christopher Nkunku gets sold because you cannot have a player who just looks like he doesn't want to be here. He's offering nothing defensively. He's offering nothing attacking wise. And when I'm talking about defensively, is your aggression without the ball. I'm not seeing that from Christopher Nkunku. Again, Cole Palmer missed an easy one on one, which would have seen Chelsea go a goal up. But you can see Palmer is playing with a low confidence. He doesn't have his partner, Nicholas Jackson, and it's just getting chaotic. And we actually even have statistics to back Palmer's sudden decline in form in the team. And you can see in the first 13 games how Palmer was very effective. And looking at the last games, you can see how Palmer's effectiveness in the team has reduced. And this is really alarming, as you can see that Jackson is one of the players who usually looked like he would unlock Cole Palmer, and now Palmer lacks that partnership in Nicholas Jackson. Unai Emery has to get credit because he was able to make tactical adjustments in the second half that saw them being able to outmaneuver Chelsea's back five because they noticed that Chelsea were light in midfield, and so they decided just to add an extra body in midfield and they could play through Chelsea. Coupled with Nkunku's lethargic press, it was bound to happen. Now, Maresca is in this position. He has tried to implement a tactical change, it has not worked. Now, the only way you can prove that you're a manager who's fit enough to be at Chelsea is how you're able to turn around situations like this. Is the team not pressing well? Are the statistics telling you that the team is not pressing well? This team got a break to reflect on the Brighton's loss. Still went ahead and lost another game. Now the fans are being impatient because why are the fans being impatient? Why are the fans protesting tomorrow? It's because it's very clear. The ownership did not back the team in January. They did not sign a striker who is badly needed. They did not sign an experienced centre back who is badly needed. The questions are coming. Did they actually hire a better coach? Because it looks like if Maurizio Pochettino finished sixth and Chelsea are currently at seventh place, and the club talked about how they sacked Maurizio Pochettino because he failed to get top four. So it looks very clearly that that end of year report is not something that Chelsea were actually talking about when it comes to sacking Maurizio Pochettino. The board had already made a decision that they were going to sack Maurizio Pochettino, regardless even if he got top four. Because even when you looked at the latter press conferences that Maurizio Pochettino had, he always kept on talking as if he might actually even be the one to leave Chelsea. But it's looking now clear that the rift between the Todd Bowley led team and the Clear Lake led team at the club is actually creating problems on the pitch because now Maurizio Pochettino, a manager who finished sixth, who finished well, who looked like he had identified his team, who just needed addition so that because I think Pochettino would have gotten top four easily this season. Easily. But here we are. We have a manager who doesn't inspire any confidence, a manager who doesn't guarantee Chelsea that top four. So what is going to happen? Are they going to use the evaluation that they used on Pochettino at the end of the season to dismiss Maresca? Are they now going to hire their seventh manager in 3 years? What is actually happening at this club? What do you think? Leave your comments in the comment section area below, as I will do a preview of the Southampton game tomorrow. Thanks for watching, and see you again in the next video.